Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to learn about knockouts in Adobe Photoshop, and we're going to see practical usage for knockouts here in Photoshop. So knockouts are more like layer masks, but with more features, okay? And we can basically use knockouts to puncture holes through our layers, okay? Through our layers and down to our background layer. So in order to explain how knockouts are similar to layer masks, let me just create a new document. So go ahead and create a new document, and let's choose the A4 template to create. So I'm just going to take my text tool and then click on my workspace and then just type S, so letter S, and I'm using the Clash Display font. So this is the Clash Display font, and in case you don't have this font, you can go ahead and download it from the internet. It's basically free to use for non-commercial purposes, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the spelling, Clash Display, and I'm using the bold variation. It's the thickest. So right now, let's say we want to puncture a hole through our text, okay? Now the best way or easiest way to do this would be to select our text and then create a layer mask and just take maybe our brush tool. You can take our brush and then make our hardness to 100 and maybe the brush size to this, and just come on our text while selecting our layer mask and just click and hold, right? Click and drag rather. So click and drag to create a puncture on our text, okay? Or to puncture our text right through down to our background layer. I'm just going to undo this to do it better. So I'm going to hold down Shift and click and drag. So I have now created a straight line across my text. Now if I just hide my background layer, I'm going to see that this is actually transparent, right? So with knockouts, we can also do this and even do more, because knockouts have a lot of other options or other applications. So just select your text tool once more and let's hit S. Sorry, let's create S rather. We'll create S, and now let's try to duplicate what we've just created with knockouts this time, so that we see how knockouts work. Now just come here to your rectangle tool and create a new rectangle across like this. Now our rectangle has to be on our letter S, right? So just double click here on your rectangle and then go to blending options. Now on the blending options, you see where it says knockout. So this is knockout, and as you can see, it's presently set to none. So that's why we don't have any knockouts. But let's just take this to shallow or deep, and I'm going to explain what shallow and deep means. But just take this to either one of them, and then come here where it says fill opacity, and then reduce your fill opacity. Okay, you can reduce your fill opacity through here, or just hit OK and then come to fill here and then reduce it, okay, to 0. Now you can see that we've basically created exactly what we had here, only that this one has a stroke, so we can just disable our stroke and we basically have exactly what we created here. So we can see how we've achieved exactly the same thing with knockouts, just as we did with layer masks, right? So basically that's what knockouts do. And we have two types of knockout, like we've just seen. We have the deep knockout, which puncture holes through our layer down to our background layer, and it basically doesn't care how many layers there are, it just punctures holes through all the layers down to the background layer, while the shallow knockout puncture holes through the layers within a group. Okay, so the layers have to be within a group. Now we're going to see how all of this works. So go ahead and place an image. Let's place an image, go to our layer, our folder rather, and then let's select this architectural image. So please, perfect. Now let's just scale our image this big, and then take our text tool and just type design, but instead of choosing the horizontal, let's choose the vertical, because we want to type a vertical text, right? So let's type design, and we can see that we are using a really thick font. We should be using a really thick font because we want this to really punch well, you get. So just create your design text to be this big, And now just go ahead and create or select your rectangle tool and then just create a rectangle like this, or of this size and shape. Perfect. Now drag your rectangle below your design layer and let's just change this color to white, and then just zoom in to see if we have balanced composition. So I'm just going to make this bigger a bit, and I think this will do. Now we have our rectangle, our design text, and also the background, or rather the architecture layer. So I'm just going to make this a bit smaller in size. Perfect. So I'm holding down Alt on my keyboard, okay, to resize it. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll just select my design layer and then I'll click here to go into the blending options and then select shallow knockout and OK. And then just come and reduce my opacity, or my fill opacity. Now whenever I select the shallow knockout, or whenever I make changes to my blending options, we get to see this little icon here showing us or telling us that some changes have been made to our blending options. Right now we see that it's white because our background layer is white. So what we'll do is we just unlock our background layer and we can now see the transparency, right? And then just delete our background layer and now just make this guy our new background layer. So go to layers, new, and background from layer. Perfect. Now you can see through our rectangle, okay? And our rectangle just has a stroke here. I'm just going to hit U on my keyboard for my rectangle tool. Just go to stroke and remove my stroke. Perfect. Hit 0 or Control 0 or Command 0 to fit to screen. Now we can see that we've basically punctured the hole through our rectangle down to our background layer. Now if we were to do this using masks, we can see that it's going to take us a while, or it's going to be more complicated than doing it this way, right? Perfect. So we can see how easier it is to use knockouts for certain things in Photoshop. Now we're going to go further and see how the deep knockout might work. So go ahead and place another image. So go to file and place embedded. Then here you just need to come and select this halftone PNG. Now this is a halftone pattern. I'm just going to open this so that you see. So open, and we can see that this is a halftone pattern, but basically a texture and it's in PNG. Okay, click and place, and now we just want to make this big. Okay, perfect. Now take your guy here and take him below your rectangle. Now if I take this below my rectangle, we can see that we are not even seeing our halftone pattern inside our shape, right? We're not seeing it inside our text, even as it is below our rectangle. And why is it? Because this design is puncturing a hole through all of our layers down to our background layer. And even though this is set as shallow, it's actually set as shallow, but still, because they are all in the same group, right? They are all in the same group, and there is no special group between the design text and the rectangle. So it punctures the hole down through all of our layers down to our background layer. So what if we want to actually see our halftone PNG pattern inside our text? Now, in order to do that, all we need to do is to select the design guy and select the rectangle guy and just come and give them a new layer. So as soon as I give them a new layer, we can now see it appearing inside our text. You get, so that's because the shallow guy affects just the two layers within the group. You get, so if we take this guy back to deep, we will still see it going through all of our layers, because deep just goes through all of our layers. Okay, but we want it as shallow and okay. Perfect. So this is how to use the shallow and the deep knockouts. Now I'm just going to maybe add a few more things. So I'm just going to create a new background, and then I'm just going to sorry, not Control backspace. I'm going to Alt backspace to fill it with our foreground color, and you can do Option Delete on your Mac to fill it with the foreground color. So what I need to do now is just create a layer mask. So select my layer 1, and then create a layer mask, and take my brush tool, and then right click, make my hardness very little, and then increase my brush size to say 1/8, but this is still too small for what I want to achieve. So I'm just going to use my right bracket keys to increase the size of my brush. Okay, and then just click to expose parts of our image. Okay, so that we create this kind of vignette effect. Okay, now we can just click on our layer and take it down below this guy. Now we are kind of making our background a little bit darker so as to expose this effect even better. Okay, and yeah, if you want, we can just maybe reduce the opacity a bit, maybe 95, and then or 89, and then maybe go a step further with the knockout. So I'm just going to select my halftone PNG and then Ctrl J to duplicate it, and then bring it on top of our layer here. Okay, on top of our layer or on top of our group, and then give it a knockout. Now I'm just going to give it a deep knockout, so it knocks everything down to our background. So deep knockout and OK, and then reduce our fill to 0. Now we can see this effect it gives. Okay, so these dark parts are kind of still showing the real color intensity of our background, and we can also see the knockouts puncturing our rectangle and also our text. You get? So basically this is what I want to create, and maybe just crop our entire design a bit. So hit C on your keyboard, hold down Alt and drag. Okay, crop it, and yeah, this is what we want. Perfect. So basically guys, this is it about knockout. This is it about knockouts, and really you can achieve incredible things with knockouts. You can take this to a whole new level. Okay, you can make complex compositions with the help of knockouts. Okay, and on the second thought, I think I should just add a drop shadow to our group. So I'm just going to add a drop shadow. Let's see the effect it gives us. So let's make our size this big and just our distance. Yeah, so this looks perfect to me. Okay, I'm just going to save my image, so Ctrl S, and then save my image to knockouts, and hit save. Perfect. So that will be it for this video, and see you in the next one. Bye bye. Hey, so that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. We post new videos every week covering topics in the fields of graphic design and illustration, motion graphics and video, branding, and more. If you want to support us and get access to exclusive benefits such as the project files we use in our classes, a live chat with us, shoutouts, and more, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You can join for as little as $3 a month, and the link to our Patreon page is in the description below. And if you want to take your learning to the next level, you can check out the complete course, of which this episode is a part of. And in the complete course, you get access to more than 10 hours of video lessons, project files and resources, class exercises, a Q&A section, a certificate of completion, and more. You can get the course for a special discount by using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.